My mom and my dad were pretty much the worst parents you could imagine. They'd stop by once a month and pick up the welfare check and the food stamps, and they would leave me and my sisters and give us like $20 a month to buy food. And at that point, you don't have 20 ain't enough for much food when you have 4 people to eat, and you can't go far because you're like 8. So we would go to the store called Eddie's, and we would buy maybe crackers and stuff, maybe to get us through, but we would never make it. So we ended up, like, at the end of the month, we ended up eating garbage from the neighbor's garbage pail. We would take their late at night so we wouldn't get caught. And we never had power or electric or power and gas. We would always have to get water from the gas station back in the day.
It was rough, but I didn't know any other life. So it wasn't, it was just the things that went on at home went on at home.
My parents divorced, and you know, it wasn't a very good childhood growing up.
My first memories as a human being are observing my mom in a belligerent, drunken state, yelling, screaming, throwing herself around our apartment. All I remember from my childhood, from the earliest years, are being scared for my life, and most nights crying myself to sleep.
When I was a youngster, we lived out in the country, lived on a farm ranch, had livestock, did our own farming, had 100 acres to play in. Yeah, it was sweet, had a river. It's down there by the wildlife safari. And always something to do, always working.
Life was actually, it was really simple. My mom did everything with her kids' best interests at heart, and she put all 3 of us all the way through high school. We all graduated. And
the first thing I abused was Vicodin.
I know that I used methamphetamines the first time with my mother. I was very young.
Basically, when I was about 14, I got exposed to it when I was bucking hay, because we'd always have a beer at lunchtime with our food.
I was about 14. I was 14. I know when I first ever used.
14 years old, at my friend BJ's house.
I want to say it was my junior year in high school.
At one point, I had 5.5 years, and I relapsed over the marriage not working out.
My daughter drowned in her stepmom's bathtub, and my wife turned sideways, and all the pressure and stuff, so I started drinking to relieve the pain. And then it got where I started drinking because I was lonely, because we ended up getting a divorce, and I started drinking more because my whole life, as I knew it, ended, you know, so I was trying to learn how to live over again.
We woke up mighty early because we got the call in that this insurgents took over this school, like it was maybe 50 miles outside of Baghdad. And this wasn't like your school people think of, no, it's like this beat up building with some desks, but they called it a school. So we went in there to take the school back, and I really can't talk about what happened after that because I have written a thing, but I ended up taking a bullet in the back, and next thing I know, I woke up in New York, and it was 3 months later. And I woke up, and I couldn't feel my legs. And I got told that I'm gonna have to work to get them back because there was shrapnel right by where there's a nerve cluster that's affecting it. And I couldn't walk, and it took me 8 months to walk again. But that wasn't that bad. Like, people talk about PTSD, that wasn't that bad. I was fine there. I had my family by me, life was good, man. But I was drinking a lot at the time in the military, and that's where my drinking really, I went pro at that point.
You know, when I was living with my father, and he would come home and be, you know, angry and surprised at how much I drank. And it never occurred to me. And I wasn't, I mean, he said I was, you know, surprisingly coherent. And I remember him sitting me down one time after yelling at me, like, you know, you drank all my drink. What am I supposed to drink now? But then, after the initial frustration of that wore off, he realized that he saw part of my mother in me. He said, "Scott, you drink this much, and you don't even seem drunk." And I said, "Yeah, well, so what are you worried about?" He's like, "That's not good." He's like, "That's scary."
One night I just decided to do meth again, and just within about 36 hours of doing meth, I completely lost my mind. Went to my work when I wasn't even working, took some money out of the safe, and I got another charge. And I got another possession and a theft 2 charge.
Hit rock bottom about 9 months ago. 'Cause I was in the hospital about a month before I came here. I came from the hospital to here. I couldn't even walk up the 3 flights of stairs when I first got here. Roger was hesitant about letting me in the program because I was so sickly.
I was homeless for about a month, and when I was homeless, that was when I realized that I'm 26 years old. I'm living on the street. I am 100% on the opposite end of where I should be, where I thought I was going to be. In just a few short months, I had destroyed everything, and every time I tried to get a different answer, it kept coming back. It's because I'm an alcoholic.
Man, I remember there'd be times, man, when I used to be high and I'd be in hotel rooms and stuff. And even though everything's fine, I got a lot of money, I got a lot of friends, you know, I guess you could call it fortune and fame, I guess, you know, as far as the streets are concerned. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, I got a warrant. I'm going to jail again. And none of these people are going to care. None of these people are going to write me, really, you know what I mean? And I could really accept my phone calls. Every time I get out of jail, since I'm a drug dealer, you know, since I move enough weight to where they got their hand out the day I get out of jail. And I'm like, man, where's mine? I need you to cover me right now, you know, type thing. It's like, I just know that none of these people care. It's just the addiction is the only bond that we have. But at the same time, in my mind, you know, my inner child, I guess, cries out a lot. Like, I call everybody my family or this, that, and the other. I try to make it more of a, you know, listen, aside from drugs, you know, I love you though, man. I love you. You know, yeah. No, yeah. Right on, family. Yeah, right on. Oh yeah, Snoop, I love you. You know, we love you too. Yeah, right. Man, I figured it out, man. You find out who loves you when you go to jail, and you find out who loves you when you get clean.
I went to an organization that assists people who are getting out of jail and who are homeless, you know, and long story short, I told them what I was going through, and they said, okay, well, first let's get you a place to stay. And those were the first 2 vouchers for Cityteam that I had gotten.
I talked to my PO, and he said that you've already been in 22 treatment centers, that basically you don't need to go, but if something happens, you're going to go to jail for a while. And I just left my PO's office, and I knew I needed help, because in the state of mind I was in, and my past history of what I do when I feel that way, it's not going to be good. And so that's when I decided to give Roger a call, and I actually got in the next day.
So I came to Cityteam. The first time I came, I got here for dinner. I ate 3 trays. I was so hungry. And it was the greatest thing ever. I was happy to be on one of those mats. This place instantly became a safe haven to me. So, and I had to go each morning and be at TSU by 8 a.m. to get my voucher for the next night. So I'd go to TSU, get my voucher, and I had all this free time on my hands. And multiple times every day I contemplated, I knew this guy, he lived in Vancouver. If I called him, he'd come pick me up, take me up to his place, let me kick it with him for a couple of weeks, and get me loaded the whole time. Charge me nothing, just have fun. But something kept telling me, don't do it. You're going to be right back in that vicious cycle you've been stuck in for years. So I stuck around Cityteam. Just stayed on the front bench, stayed out there the whole time kicking heroin. I didn't want to leave. I knew that if I stayed here, I was going to be okay. It was God, fully God. And I went into DBS on a Friday night. It was Memorial Day weekend. And Gordon was at the table with me. And they said, what are you grateful for? I said, I'm grateful you're not using. He said, what are you struggling with? I said, I'm struggling with the fact that I'm dope sick right now and I'm looking for treatment. And he said, you know, this is a treatment place, or this is a recovery center. I said, I didn't know that. He said, yeah. He said, I'm not a heroin addict. I don't understand what you're going through, but I got a friend over here, Joe Conger. He can speak your language. And so he did. He introduced me to Joe. And we clicked instantly. Joe's awesome. Love that guy. He talked with me that night, kept me cool, woke me up the next morning at 6 a.m. when I woke up with general wake up. He bent down and he handed me 3 cigarettes and he goes, do you do meetings? I said, yeah. I haven't been to one in years though. He goes, get up, we're going to one right now. He took me to Miracles. And I haven't left since. Sunday, they don't serve breakfast here or dinner. Didn't know that. So when I woke up Sunday, I'm sitting on the front bench and they're asking me, the guys in the programs, Thomas is asking me, well, what are you going to do today? I said, I don't know. I have no idea. And a couple guys were suggesting maybe go to the public library, do something, who knows. And I said, I don't want to. I said, if I leave, I might just go get loaded. And Thomas actually broke the rules and let me come inside for the day, kick it with him, watch the TV on the bottom floor, and he gave me some food. And by the time I went to go meet with Roger to ask him about getting in the program, Chris, Thomas, and Joe had already all gone to him and vouched for me. I walked up to Roger and I said, hello, my name is Jared. He goes, I know who you are. Step in my office.
But the way that Roger talks about God, it's not something that Cityteam forces down your throat. He talks about God with respect, and he makes it it's a good thing. You know, it's not the scary God aspect. You need to do this or you're going to burn in hell. You know, it's that God is your buddy. God is, you know, there for you, and He's the guy that's going to get you through these things. And no matter what you've done in your life, this was the biggest thing for me, Paul, was that no matter what you've done in your life, if you believe in Jesus Christ, you're forgiven. If you believe that He was raised from the dead for you, died for you and was raised from the dead, then you proclaim Him with your mouth, you believe that in your heart, you're saved. And I said, how can anybody turn away that deal? You know what I mean? Like that, to slap that hand away would be ridiculous. And like,
I would just tell him thank you for the unconditional love. It's definitely, it just hasn't been my addiction. It's been my whole family's addiction. It's been a struggle for about 10 years, 9 or 10 years, and I've put my family through a lot. And besides the fact that I'm their son, they've had every other reason in the world just to write me off, and they haven't yet. So I'm just really grateful for that.
Life, man, is good, man. You know, I got everything to be grateful for, man. I spent Thanksgiving and Christmas with my family. 23 years it's been, and it happened. They like me. I think they always love me. It's just like and love, two different plateaus, you know what I mean? And it's pretty cool, man. So yeah, I'm grateful for everything, man. Dang, I'm grateful. Honored.